You've worked hard to earn and save. Now it's time to make your money work hard for you. This is Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida of A Better Way Financial.
All right, so when it comes to our retirement, obviously in our working years, we're saving, we're trying to grow our money, putting our 401k into the S&P or whatever other options that we have. And here on this radio program, we've actually talked about big investment firms like BlackRock and Goldman Sachs. Another one is Bridgewater. Its CEO was recently talking about picking investments, and he said, at Bridgewater, guys, they've got 400 people working on this day and night. 400 of them, day and night, and they still get it wrong 40% of the time. And I'm thinking about, again, our growth, and then when we get to retirement, we've got to change our growth strategy. If you're trying to pick stocks in retirement, I mean, you can't really afford to be wrong 40% of the time, can you? So how do you help us figure out a retirement plan that's not a guessing game?
Well, I'll tell you, Heather, really, that is not the way to do it because it's so difficult. I mean, if you've got all these big teams of supposedly some of the smartest investment people in the world and they're getting it wrong 40% of the time, that's a problem, you know? And you know what? We have people that come in and, you know, so a lot of the do-it-yourselfers and they like picking their own stocks and that type of thing. But, you know, even they realize, you know what? They're wrong a lot too, you know, and they, you know, a lot of them come to realize, you know what, especially in the retirement years where it's so important not to have big losses and that type of thing, that it's important to put at least the bulk of their funds in, you know, the type of management that we do here, where we're spreading out that risk and we're, you know, showing people a really intelligent way to make their investments. You know, some of them still want to fool around a little bit and play with the market. And you know what? We say, you know what? Go ahead. You know, take a little side account and have your fun and enjoy it. I understand it's a hobby. It's something you like to do. But the bulk of your savings, the thing that is going to allow you to retire in style, to retire to the best of your ability, why take unnecessary chances?
Yeah, and like you're saying, if the people who are doing it day and night, a year round, are getting it wrong 40% of the time, the people who are working a full-time job and saying, all right, well, on top of that, I'm going to try to pick some stocks here and there and hope I do well. Well, they're probably wrong a little bit more than 40% of the time. So it's not something you want to just go with a gut feeling. It's not something you want to leave your retirement to chance. You want to be able to say, all right, I know where I'm at. I don't have to take these unnecessary risks. And this is what we do, is we design a portfolio within your personal risk tolerance. We look at it and we say, all right, well, here's your situation. Do you want to take all of this risk? Usually the answer is no. Usually the answer is, all right, well, I'm in my retirement now where I'm getting close. Here's what I feel comfortable taking as far as risk goes. And we say, all right, well, let's design the portfolio around that because we don't have to take more risk than you feel comfortable with. We don't usually pick stocks here. That's not what we do. Our philosophy when we invest is, let's have the broader stock market when we have the market investments. We're utilizing investments such as ETFs or exchange traded funds that have lots and lots of different stocks in them. Because if you pick a certain stock and that company doesn't do very well, your whole investment in that company can have a tremendous hit that goes down from it. Whereas if you're utilizing things like ETFs, you're more diversified across the broader stock market instead of having it in one specific company. And so we utilize that to diversify the risk. We use something called fixed indexed annuities to diversify and lower the risk, because with the fixed indexed annuities, if the stock market goes down, your principal is protected within that strategy. So it's a way to be able to balance some of the overall risk in the portfolio. And we look at it and we say, all right, well, what is the level of risk you're currently taking? What is the level of risk that you're willing to take? And then what is the level of risk that we're going to set up within your portfolio? And what options do we have to be able to potentially lower your risk while still keeping a really strong risk-adjusted rate of return for you in your retirement years? And so what we do is we analyze with a risk and return analysis how your portfolio is doing. How is that 401k? How is that IRA? And then we put together a design portfolio custom-made for you with that risk and return analysis showing here's the level of risk in that current investments. Here's the level of return in that current investment. Here's the level of risk in our recommended investment. Here's the level of return in that recommended investment. And then you get to make a decision. Do I want to keep everything the way that I have it now? Do I want to make some changes? Do I want to try to lower some of my risk? Do I want to try to increase some of that return potentially, depending on the circumstance? So if you have not had one of these analyses done and you haven't maybe looked through your risk profile in a few years and you're approaching retirement, now would be a great time to have a risk and return analysis showing you those risks, showing you the types of returns you can get, and showing it over a long period of time in your retirement years. So if you're 55 and older and you save $500,000 or more for your retirement, we are offering this right now complimentary to the next 5 callers. That number to dial is 610-440-3722 for your risk and return analysis. That's 610-440-3722, or find us online at abetterwayfinancial.com.
You know, Frankie, it's really great having this forum with this radio show because we get to touch so many lives. So many folks are out there listening to us, and they call in. We had that fella call in. He was, 66 years old? Mm-hmm. And he wanted to see a little bit about what we do, so he came to one of our workshops and dinner workshops, and then he came in. He said, I've been doing this by myself for years. I want to know if you guys can do better. Show me.
Yeah.
So the guy had done an excellent job of saving money. And, investing, he did okay, but really, he really could have done better. But he did have a nice portfolio. He had a $1.6 million portfolio. Nice. Asked us what we could do, and then we showed him, didn't we, Frankie?
And he wanted to see. He said, can I retire next year? I'm like, all right, great question. Let's run the numbers. Let's see how everything is doing. And he's like, can I do anything better? Where am I at? I genuinely just want to know, how am I doing? What's going on? Am I going to be able to retire? Am I going to be able to get the returns that I need to be able to not have to worry about money in my retirement? And I said, well, here's the situation. Over the past 25 years, you earned about a 5.5% rate of return with the current investments you have, which isn't bad, but we can do even better while maintaining a similar level of risk. So without taking any additional risk, we were able to show them that we would be projected over that same 25-year period about 8.5% instead of the 5.5%, which is a 3% difference on average per year, which might not sound like a whole lot.
Yeah.
But on a $1.6 million portfolio, that's an average of $50,000 per year in interest.
Got it.
So that definitely, on average, is going to make a huge difference over his retirement years.
Yeah.
And it's not taking on more risk than his current investments. We said, all right, well, here's the level of risk that you feel comfortable with. Let's design that portfolio with the same level of risk. We're not going to take additional risk. We're going to keep it the same, and we're going to try to maximize the rate of return that we can get with those investments. And so we showed them that, hey, by developing and by showing you this risk and return analysis, we're going to be able to get you that income you're looking for. We're going to be able to show you how to get the most out of those investments that you have for his specific circumstance. And we were able to show him he could live on 2 times the amount of income he was living on. So he was living on about $50,000 of income per year. We showed him you could live on an additional $53,000 more of income per year, going all the way up to $103,000 of income. And he has no problem retiring when he wants to next year. Yeah. So it was exciting to see. He's like, this is what I've been looking for. I've been looking for a retirement plan. I've been looking for somebody who actually puts everything all together for me. And I met with people and I wasn't able to find it. But coming here, this is what I needed. All he did was give us a call. He called us in from the radio, and then he came to one of the dinner workshops, and we were able to put together one of those complimentary risk and return analyses where we were able to show them, this is your situation. This is what we're able to do to try to put you in a better position for your retirement. You want to see if you can retire next year? Let's run the numbers. Let's see how we're doing. You want to see if you get a better rate of return? Let's run the numbers. Let's see how we're doing. You want to try to lower some of the risk? Let's see the numbers. Let's see how you're doing. You want to see if you could spend more income, spend more money in your retirement? Potentially double it, in his case, 50 to 103,000.
Yeah.
Let's run the numbers. Let's see what we can do. So if you want to have us run the numbers and see what we can do for you, give us a call for your complimentary risk and return analysis. That number to dial is 610-440-3722. And we're offering this right now for the next 5 callers. So if you're 55 and older and you've saved $500,000 or more for your retirement, give us a call right now. That number is 610-440-3722 for your complimentary risk and return analysis, or find us online at abetterwayfinancial.com.
Thanks for listening to Empower Your Retirement with Frank and Frankie Guida. To learn more, visit abetterwayfinancial.com.
By contacting us, we'll review aspects of your retirement portfolio to include suggestions about how best to utilize estate, tax, and retirement planning strategies and other financial services, or if changing management styles is appropriate for your specific needs and objectives. Exposure to ideas and financial vehicles discussed should not be considered investment advice or recommendations to buy or sell any financial vehicle. Past performance is not a guarantee of future results. Investments can fluctuate, and when redeemed may be worth more or less than when originally invested. A Better Way Financial is not affiliated with nor endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength and claims-paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Any client experiences discussed during this show are unique to that client, and they are not meant to imply or suggest you will experience the same results. Advisory services offered through A Better Way Financial. Insurance offered through licensed professionals at A Better Way Financial. Pennsylvania Insurance License number 301779.